Winners finals of the Collegiate Call of Duty Invitational presented by Army ROTC. My name is McCormill. By my side is Proper Casts. And Ottawa Black, second place inside of the CCL playoffs. The Carleton Ravens, who we think can give them a run for their money, at least in maybe one or two maps at that point. So winners finals and Proper. We've already secured our top three. These guys already secured top three previously yesterday. Going into this matchup, though, it's the difference between getting to the grand finals and then having to not have to play two best-of-5s. If you come from the losers bracket, we can take a look at that now.
Yeah, as we take a look at that lower bracket, or the winner bracket, Ottawa Black were able to beat Illini Orange. They ran through Texas State as well. And now they find themselves here versus Carleton Ravens. As you take a look at their route, of course, being ASU Maroon. We saw that matchup versus Esports at Purdue yesterday, where we really got to see what this Carleton Ravens squad does look like without Hawk, and with Bernardo and Team Thief as your AR lineup to help out Lurid 47 on the front line. And, well, it started to work quite well, but like you were talking about, Ottawa Black might just be that juggernaut inside of this entire bracket that is even left alive. Hell, even at the beginning of the entire tournament, everyone's looking at Ottawa Black and was like, well, we're trying to avoid them at all possible costs, but now we're in top three, and you really have no choice. The loser of this, of course, will go down to face Purdue in lower finals, who are coming off of a Map 5 win versus Illini Orange. But yeah, man, this Ottawa Black roster, I mean, you look at some of the map losses that they had throughout the regular season, or not even just the regular season, the entire season, that wasn't against Ottawa Gold in that grand finals. It was a Moscow Search and Destroy to Illini Blue, and then it was a checkmate control to Concord. So, at least two maps that they have lost, an opportunity to potentially pounce upon. Maybe you can find Ottawa Black. I mean, not as much synergy, but you still got to get through their mechanical skill as well. They're nuts.
True. Well, we'll take a look at Ottawa Black's roster here to start things out. And of course, you take a look at this team and already you see household names, not only just from the CCL, but from the amateur scene too. So Cruelty, Lightning, Fame, Noisy. These guys have tons of accolades under their belt, and most notably here in the collegiate side of things, that second place finish to their counterpart of Ottawa Gold inside of the grand finals, where they took them to a game number 5, round 11, and just barely weren't able to force that second best-of-5 reset. So here with Ottawa Gold not playing, Ottawa Black now you would assume to be at the forefront of the running, as we've said all day long, all weekend long. The Carleton Ravens, well, they have a chance, but it's going to be a slim one at that.
Slim one at that. Let's go and take a look at Carleton Ravens for their roster and what they have to offer us. Again, you will see Bernardo and Team Thief. That is your AR lineup with Lurid 47 and Shruki on the front line. And this team caught us by surprise as far as what their synergy really looked like in that win versus Purdue yesterday. You know, a lot of question marks around what is this team going to look like now. You don't have Hawk, a big slaying factor for this Carleton Ravens, and longtime duo of 47 as far as Collegiate is concerned. And even for a couple of Challengers Cups as well. This is going to be a very interesting matchup. But I'm almost looking directly at Lurid to see if they can bring some of that X factor to be able to help out the rest of the Carleton Ravens, who really combated against all 4 of those players that we just saw from Ottawa Black, because you're going to need all of that plus a bag of chips.
Yeah, well, map number 1 is going to be Garrison Hardpoint. And as we kind of talked about before we came back in, Ottawa Black, this is one of those maps that you assume that they're going to not only be able to win on, but dominate at the same time. We saw it against not only the likes of Ottawa Gold, but any other team that tried to contest them on Garrison Hardpoint specifically. They had a tough time doing so, and it usually was at least a 50 to 100 point victory, or in some cases even a 200 point victory for Ottawa Black. So there's a lot of good to be said about them here, but we saw the Ravens on this map specifically too in Respawn on Hardpoint. They're comparable to the side of Ottawa Black.
Let's just go ahead and put this out here real quick, too. As far as the stats for CCL are concerned through all the regular season, yes, Ottawa Black were undefeated through Hardpoint, but it's their average opponent score that really speaks volumes. 48 is their average opponent score. Just go ahead and just soak that in real quick. Just think about that. All right, now put it in the back of your cap, because going into this Garrison Hardpoint, I mean, you have to think that this had to have gotten through for Carleton for some reason. I mean, they were able to beat Purdue, and take that for what you will, Purdue versus Ottawa University, as far as what they have to offer on the table. You know, they were able to win that by a solid 103 points, but it was on that map that we got to see the AR lineup really come to life, and that only enables 47 to do that job that we know that Andy is able to do continuously. But again, going up against Ottawa Black on a household map like Garrison Hardpoint, oh man, you better hope that you're counting your spawns, you're counting heads, because they have Austin Cruelty over there. If there's one person that really embraces that role to play the route, man, Cruelty sets up their team every single rotation, and Garrison is a game of rotations, talking about from 2 to 3. What about when you have to fight from 3 all the way over towards the west side of the map for 5 as well? Cruelty's that guy historically on this map mode combo that is always ahead of the game, trying to set up their team for those spawns.
Yeah, if you want to talk more about Ottawa Black and their ARs on this team, well, look no further than Fame. Fame all year long has not only been their dominant AR on the side of Ottawa Black, but has been, I guess, revered as one of the top 2 to 3 ARs throughout the entirety of the CCL. And revered as one of the best ARs inside of the challenger scene in total, too. So you pair that with an Ottawa Black roster that has Cruelty, the route man. You've got Noisy, as well as Lightning, who can get up close and personal to other players, and of course the other teams get in their face and break those hills, not only with an AR, but an SMG, too. It's no wonder why they don't lose maps proper, and they have a 200-point differential in their hardpoint wins. Folks, if you can't really comprehend that, it's because it's very hard to. You see a lot of close matches, maybe 250, 225, 175, 250s. No, they're winning hardpoints by an average of 250 to 40.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, the entirety of the regular season, like they don't even have a single outlier. What is their outlier as far as hardpoint KD? It's Lightning at 2.06. That's in playoffs too. Like this team of Ottawa Black was quite literally running through them. I mean, this is where Collegiate Esports are currently at. As we're still waiting for the teams to start the lobby here for this Garrison Hardpoint. We'll be underway very soon. I am sure of you soon, TM, of course. But still, for all this Ottawa Black roster and for all of Ottawa University, even looking at the Ottawa Gold roster as well, they did a really smart thing when you're thinking about all the rosters that they were able to pick up. Chris Radio, Herbie, Prophesied, Ethan Too Nice. That's your Ottawa Gold roster. Fame, Noisy, Cruelty, Lightning. I mean, they went out, they scouted, they picked up top challengers talent, and they probably sat there and said, hey, you want a place to where you're able to at least game, you're at least able to become a better student while also becoming a better Call of Duty player. Well, all 8 of these players for Ottawa Gold, I guess you could also include Fetty there on the bench for Ottawa Black as well, have been able to flourish in that exact little facility, if you will, of Ottawa University, and they've been becoming so much better. I mean, we're seeing them being able to soar as far as challengers are concerned as well, and for Carleton on the opposite side of things, again, that's their uphill battle. You are facing some of the best talent that we can honestly talk about in collegiate Call of Duty at this current juncture of time. So now you're just hoping that teamwork might just be able to come through, that you might just be able to catch Ottawa Black off guard, but they're not the one to give you those unforced errors.
And I believe Ottawa's not playing in their actual facility here today inside of this Invitational. So is that going to play a factor in the chemistry between Ottawa Black not being able to maybe fist bump between matches or, look to each other and say, let's go, we just had a great map stuff? Maybe. Realistically, though, they've been in the environment beforehand where they're not playing in the arena that was really just for the CCL kind of stuff throughout the entirety of the year. And did it work out for them in a lot of ways? Absolutely. We saw between Ottawa Black and Ottawa Gold when they were inside of that arena, they were playing side by side on the main stage there. And so it was like, we got that look into what it's kind of like to be back in a sort of environment where you're playing next to each other, when you're playing with your teammates. And I believe they're still in Ottawa, just not at the actual arena itself. So it's still going to be relatively all of the players from Ottawa being in that same place, on that same host and stuff like that. But as we are waiting for the match to go ahead and start up, we're going to kick it to a quick break. When we come back, the winners finals between Ottawa Black and the CU Ravens kicks up and starts on Garrison Hardpoint. All right, folks, welcome back to the Collegiate Invitational presented by Army ROTC. The Ravens and Ottawa Black doing battle on Garrison in map number 1 of this best of 5 series. In the winners finals, Bedardo finds 2, cleans up a couple kills, and Ottawa Black, they get themselves in point number 1.
And we know what 47 is going to bring to the table for Carleton Ravens, and the question will always present itself, what can Bernardo and Team Thief do to try to help set up 47 for success? Ottawa Black, we know all 4 of these players in and out for the CCL season and somewhat through challengers as well. They are just that definitive as far as gun skill is concerned. 47 will find one in the back. Of course, will be traded on the way out. But Carleton, this is a great start for them. They were able to get through P1, but most importantly, 47 is going to spawn in towards P2. Thanks to Bernardo on this 4 spree to get up in top green.
Huge kill by Lightning, secures the square side spawns, but more importantly, now they can push back in towards this point. It's going to be the Ravens who are going to have to challenge out of Satellite. Cruelty will find the shots there on the Bedardo. Should be able to get into the hill, and they will. So with Team Thief being there, Cruelty finding himself on 3, now make it 4. Fame will play peekaboo and ring around the Rosie with a couple find to kill before he falls to Struki, and it'll be the side of Ottawa Black who hold down P2.
Now, how do you try to break back into this if you are Carleton Ravens? You got to think it's going to be through Cobblestone first. And yeah, Bernardo 47, they double on up. Cruelty trying to keep their life, tries to favor for the reload. But Lightning has some help to be able to help things out from the front. But Thief will find 2 on the back end. So the fight for the scrap should be there for Carleton, and that'll just even things up yet again here in between the first 2 hills on Garrison Hardpoint. Again, Ottawa Black, because they lost that gunfight, they'll spawn closer towards P3, so now they're going to try to keep Carleton trapped in these P2 spawns.
There's anything you can emphasize about Ottawa Black, specifically after P2, it's the kind of chemistry that they play with and the ability to bait and switch throughout the entirety of a point. We saw it there when Cruelty dipped behind cover and was able to hop back out. His teammate was there in Lightning to clean up the kills, and now Ottawa Black has already rotated on over towards P3, so with 55 seconds left, it's going to be up to Team Thief and the rest of the CU Ravens roster not to get turned on number 1, but number 2, to find their way up through either middle map or dark, and thus far they haven't even passed the 50-yard line.
It's such a hard hill to even break for the first and foremost, but to try to contest it from the front, that's how you're going to try to do it if you're our Carleton. Bernardo finds the first, 47 hops the wall, they will meet their demise. Bernardo trying to look for the trade, but Noisy is playing their life so wonderfully, and there are those close Jenny spawns for P3. Ottawa Black always reinforcing this hill. Just down to scrap, and now Carleton look to do what Ottawa Black just did going into P3. Try to keep them trapped in these very close spawns for Jenny.
Start to find ourselves over towards Trash. Noisy's going to break out here through Dark. Fame will find the first kill on the 47. So now you got to look for the player that's in lights, and you've also got to find the player that's up on towards the top bridge. Noisy will find the shots, but it will be Team Thief and Bedarda who pair for a couple. 47 finds a third, and now it's just all by his lonesome. Cruelty over towards Dark. He'll be able to find one, but it's still the side of Ottawa Black running all the way towards the back of the hill. Struki last one alive in point number 4.
Good opening for P4, but players for Ottawa Black, they found the opening out from Dark and from the shipment square as well, so now they're able to fly forward. That's going to be Noisy, 74U in hand. Not going to eat a bullet. Rechallenges Bernardo up top. Great 2 kills come through. Thief got a last laugh of the Semtex, and they're also locking things down with a headshot onto Noisy, but it's not enough to contest P4 from the front. 5 seconds left to play. Carleton Ravens, they're still playing around with top green control. Ottawa Black trying to contest this from the front, and this is still looking good for Carleton in towards the next hill.
So far, it's been Noisy and Cruelty leading the way for the side of Ottawa Black in the kills department. They've got themselves in towards the point, but it's Lightning who's been able to clean up the rest of the charge in terms of hill time. Minute and 2 seconds as we look to go ahead over towards point number 5. It is the side of the CU Ravens that technically have a bit of an advantage over towards the next point because you have Lightning by his lonesome. You have 2 players that can go ahead and find the pinch, but he's behind enemy lines. They have no idea that Lightning's even close.
No, he's not. He might just challenge out from lights. He ain't given any information that might come through from Noisy over by Dark, but Struki's going to touch the zone first. Lightning's going to go for the challenge. Yep, right on top of the box. Easy kill, and Fame finds one for the front. This is such a successful break, but it's not enough to upset the spawns. You see Struki and 47. They'll still spawn in for P5, so Ottawa Black, they got to recognize this and deal with it.
Said beforehand proper, it was Cruelty that usually was the back line that was kind of finding those routes, being the route man for the side of Ottawa Black. That just goes to show that anybody on the side of Ottawa can do that at any given time. Lightning in that scenario is able to find the first kill on rotation. And although the Ravens have fought themselves back in towards this hard point, Cruelty is going to be the first one here trying to find these entry picks. He's got one, his teammates trying to fly up through the map to find 2 and 3. But for Carleton, you're in towards the hard point right now, and you can play for a couple kills as you lead up to point number 1 and the restart of the hard points.
It's still going to be pinch. It's still a battle for this back 15. It would have been a bigger 15 for Carleton to be able to hold, but Ottawa Black are just being an absolute nuisance. Going in towards the second set of hills, it's going to be a solid 40-plus lead that Ottawa Black are currently holding. And this was a very contested opening first set of hills between these 2 teams. Bernardo at 16 and 11 started off really hot, double positive, and the Ottawa Black on the opposite side, Cruelties at 17 and 7, double positive for them. Noisy 14 and 11. Everything that you would expect out from Ottawa Black in the slaying department is coming through, and they're being ever so wiser as far as the rotations as well. You already got a player. Number 7 is going to be Noisy on this tech satellite dish, trying outside the lines. 47 trying to lock down the kill. We'll finally find it.
He just keeps 47 occupied over towards P2 as well and doesn't allow him to start that pinch with his teammates back towards middle map. And it's kind of the key thing here, right? You know, you take your teammates off of that point, you allow your teammates to get a bunch of time over on the opposite side, and although you technically don't have P2 locked down, the last time you saw the push from Ottawa, they went all the way through square, got those spawns, and were able to hold down P2 in that regard. So as Noisy finds 2 over towards point number 1, looks for number 3. The contest is going to be in, and the Ravens, they don't want to give up those P2 spawns. However, they still want to make sure that Ottawa can't continue to find themselves in their own right over towards point number 1 to get that scrap time.
It's always about just recycling players out from this catwalk and in toward top green. Team Thief will get here in time to catch Fame off guard as soon as they try to go for the mantle. We'll get a little bit of a shoulder from Cruelty very far away, but this is a very successful 1-2 if you are Carleton Ravens. Now you have the setup. Here comes Ottawa Black, though, from the back.
Every time the Ravens get closer, Ottawa Black just seems to be one step ahead and pull the game even further in their favor. Over towards the back, though. Bidardo's able to find one, almost is able to find Lightning down below. However, as Ottawa Black once again show their mastery and being able to break in towards hard points, they get 30 seconds of P2 time, at least right now, in their favor. But as 47 comes through and finds 3, that should be the opportunity and the full break for the Ravens to get the scrap time. But unfortunately, Proper, they're in the same position once again where they don't have P3.
Yeah, they don't have P3, but then now they're going to make this a solid hard point between these two teams. Now you got to try to break for Ottawa Black. They were unsuccessful in doing so in this P3 setup, but Bidardo does find 2. Will be traded on out. It's not enough to try to upset this setup. I saved that, but player number 247 is so close to P3, it actually forces Cruelty to spawn out. It will not recognize this. Carleton Ravens cannot capitalize on that unfortunate error that came through. Well, the Ottawa Black will be here for the initial time.
Lightning looking towards the front, can play his life here for the time. Players going to try to push either through tools or through dark, and it looks like the tools push is going to be at the top of their agenda. Lightning looks back over, tries to find the first, will be able to find the shot, but can't find the kills. Bidardo with 2 pushes on through. That's the spawns in the back for the side of the Ravens. Should be the hill time as well as Struki cleans up the kill, and it will be. In the back for 30 seconds. Now it's time for Ottawa Black to show they're a little bit of spunk through the front of the hill.
Struki trying to play their life. Noisy will take them down, and it's just, again, such a nuisance for Ottawa Black. It's getting over 200 points for Carleton Ravens, just getting back inside this game. Still a hard point between these two teams as we try to reset ourselves going over towards 4. Now the shoe is on the other foot, comparatively to where we were on the first set of hills. Now it's Carleton Ravens. Got to break out. Thief is trying to make that play happen, but they don't fully clear out top green. Lightning finds 2, Fame the other 2. Ottawa Black with a convincing kill feed as soon as P4 even pops.
And you shut down Team Thief as well from those potential streaks. You saw 5 in a row for him for the side of the CU Ravens, and now Ottawa Black, you've locked down the trash hill. And everybody from the side of CU, they're going to be trying to either flood through tools or dark once again, this time trying to get to P4 rather than P3. Cruelty and Noisy will once again pair for 2. The last one here is Bidardo, a familiar sight for the side of the Ravens at this point, unfortunately. And as Fame got control of top bridge, they've got control of top green, and now they can go ahead and look over the top of the ARs, set up the spawn trap over for the spawn to the Ravens.
And Ottawa Black, they can still close it out here. So Carleton, they have to break it. They have to get in through the front. At least try to get all of Ottawa Black off of this hill. But they can always just recirculate members. Noisy will touch the hill. And that's going to force Carleton to try to contest again. 20 seconds still remaining. That little bit of contest time means that Ottawa Black now can't close it out here. We will see a 5th and final hill inside this rotation. But will Carleton extend it into another set of hills?
Fortunately, they spawn close. As you got players chaotically pushing from the side of the Ravens, it's going to be a sporadic push that Ottawa Black might be able to take control of, but you see the constriction in middle map, but as Noisy finds 2, now the rest of the team can start to push up, but player number 5 gets a gifted spawn in the back. That's going to be Cruelty, who can now look for numbers 1 and 2, and Proper, who is it leading the back charge and trying to find those routes in the back? Well, it's Austin Cruelty.
Of course, it's Austin Cruelty. I mean, regardless of where they're currently at and under a lot of pressure and fire, that is forcing Carleton Ravens to not focus first and foremost on the hill. They got to deal with their spawns first. 2 seconds are all Ottawa Black need. It is a 1-for-1 trade. Lightning trying to keep themselves alive. Thief will answer back onto Noisy. But Cruelty is just trying to lock things down from the top catwalk. It's not enough to upset the spawns for Carleton. 1 second is how flawless Carleton have to play. They cannot let Ottawa touch the zone.
Yeah, well, there's the break on back in. Ottawa finds the last 2 seconds inside of map number 1. And we said it before this. You get a Garrison hardpoint against Ottawa Black. Most likely they're going to win it by 50 to 100 points. They do just that here on the first map of our best of 5 series. Take the series lead more importantly. And that bodes well going into the S&D where, although they've only lost 1 map inside of S&D throughout the entire year, Carleton, that's kind of been their strength here inside of the Invitational.
Yeah, it really has been, and again, it's come by way of those first bloods and by way of creativity. I will say this much though, from Carleton coming away from that match yesterday, as far as that raid search and destroy was concerned, yeah, it was very linear. So you're almost hoping that overnight that they're able to at least come through with a couple of not necessarily set strategies, but go from round to round. Because if there's one thing that we know from Ottawa Black, I mean, these 4 players have been playing together. They have coaches, they have the facility, although they may not be playing on it today. That playbook is going to run deep.
Absolutely, it will. And I mean, for the side of the CU Ravens, of course, you lose map number 1, sure, but you've been in this situation already beforehand inside of our bracket, inside of the Invitational. So an S&D is the perfect way to bounce back. Checkmate coming up next, Proper. You know, when we look at this map, what do you kind of think when we kind of take a look at this map? Because we haven't seen it yet in the S&D, at least. For us casting in the Invitational, what does it bring to the table that's a lot different than some of the other S&D maps?
Well, I mean, it's AR pressure, right? I mean, Checkmate Search and Destroy is just so open. It's the same thing with about Hardpoint that you can say about Control, is that Checkmate has a lot of workings for ARs to absolutely flourish. And you're looking at for Cruelty to be able to be that player, as well as Fame to be able to absolutely flourish. But on the opposite side, Bernardo came off of a fantastic Hardpoint. Although it wasn't to a loss, they were somewhere closer to about 30 kills or so. You're going to need a lot more of that and some more to set up players like 47 for success when you're looking for that B push inside of the plane. Because here on Checkmate Search and Destroy, if you're new to any sort of competitive Call of Duty at any capacity, we go to that B site a lot more often than we go to that A site. And the way that you're going to be able to find those first bloods inside of the plane, if it's not first round, you cannot get free Semtexes and flashes. The SMGs, they got to be able to work those avenues, and they got to find those kills.
And you're most likely not going to see the defensive side really get too aggressive in towards top lane a lot of the rounds, except potentially maybe round number 1 proper, because since you are the defensive side, you get there just a tad bit faster. Those SMG players can go ahead and find those shots over towards that left side corridor in the top lane. So when you send them there first round, and to your point, not having to get past those, some Texas and stuns because you don't have those trophies, it's going to open up a lot more, I guess, aggression from the defensive side, but it only lasts for maybe 1 or 2 rounds when you're on defense, specifically if they go by fast.
Yeah, I mean, exactly just that, right? I mean, if you're able to storm your way in as an offensive team inside that plane, and you're able to at least get a player to lock down Tetris as an AR and on that A street, yeah, it becomes a little bit more difficult as far as a retake. That BS&D site is very tough to retake. You got to really work some of those nerdy angles, such as P2 over inside that window to where you can see that entire bomb site. Through that little window, ARs have been able to stop bomb plants continuously from that exact angle. But when you're at a numbers disadvantage trying to retake that plane, trying to retake that bomb site included, if you have no Semtexes, no flashes, and you just have to retake it from positioning alone, it's going to take a lot of time, but those executes have to be pristine.
Just have to wait and see, though. Checkmate S&D is really one of those maps that can kind of flip-flop either way. If you're a really good aggressive offensive team, maybe you can get a round win, but more importantly, find yourself over towards A. If it works out early on in the game, then you can kind of have the defensive team guessing a little bit whether you're going to go towards A or B. But again, proper to your point, getting over to that A S&D side is going to be one of the most meticulous things that you do inside of Cold War in an S&D. As we saw earlier in the year, it was on Moscow where the B site really wasn't opted to go to at all. Then a lot of teams really started to figure out that push over towards B. It hasn't been the same on Checkmate. Teams still cannot get to that A site, at least in a repetitious state. So with that being said, for Checkmate S&D, you'd have to favor the defensive side here, especially if they can get plane control early on.
Hey, man, it's Call of Duty. Anything's possible. We saw a couple of A plans coming through from Checkmate all the way through the playoffs of CCL. So, I mean, it's possible. We even seen subliners up in CDL. They were able to work that A plan as well. I mean, it's possible, right? I mean, but it's very tough. Obviously, when you're thinking about that A site as a whole, it's got to come through by a very quick succession kills, whether it's from your ARs or the SMGs inside the plane, to be able to bully your way through that A lane, to be able to get that plant first and foremost. So you're going to be looking at angles from the yellow cargo container where P2 resides, the forklift on the opposite side of that A site as well. It's just so tough to be able to work one of those sites, but it is doable. I'm not going to rule out that we might see an A plant here because we might just see it, but we'll have to see if any of these two teams are feeling the sauce. Bernardo, there it is. Buckle said we might see some GAs being broken. Bernardo brings out the LW3.
My goodness, smokes as well too, folks. This is an S&D for the ages. Cruelty finds one on the Struki. Team Thief in 74 find 2. 3 versus 1. I'm a happy little kid on Christmas.
First blood with the sniper. Smokes a rave inside the plane. Carlton Ravens will win the first round. And again, it's that big execute inside of the plane. He just hit it full force. Smokes Bernardo with the opening kill. And how do you even see? It's a rave. There are no LED strips inside of this plane at all. But Team Thief still walks away with the kill, plus the plane as well. Carlton just bully their way into that plane.
I, for one, could not be happier to see the snipers and the smokes coming out proper. We have waited so long to get to a point where even just a little bit of hope for a sniper to provide some action on a map comes back. It's here, baby. I mean, it only might be for a game, but still, it's here.
I respect this from Carlton and Ottawa, just to break GAs for the search and destroy. Smokes will come out. It is fully blossomed, but Carlton are just going to try to push all the way through.
You can't see. There's nothing. Literally, if you thought how the wall bangs beforehand were non-calculated? It's even more so here inside of the smoke screens, but as we're in a 2 versus 2, Lightning still has bomb in hand, and as he finds that kill, it'll be a 1 versus 1 after the trades. And, shots are there from Struki. Ravens, second round in the S&D. Do you need GAs to beat Ottawa here proper?
I won't push that conversation, not until it becomes a post on Reddit or on my Twitter feed. But but even still, I mean, this is a great hit overall when you're thinking this from Carleton. Again, inside the plane, they forced that team kill like I was talking about for Ottawa Black. They try to work their way inside of that plane through the smoke. Carleton Ravens, they force a team kill to come through. And again, it's just all cleanup from there on out. Regardless of finding the opening kill by way of a sniper, Ottawa Black could not fully capitalize as the scuffle had unfolded inside that BS&D site. So Bernardo is going to work this angle right above the wood cutout. Smokes will actually clear Cruelty out. So now they're going to be having a little bit of an avenue to work, and Lightning found first blood.
Looking for the back pick. Checkmate. Oh, this is fun. I've been excited to watch Checkmate a lot, specifically since we hadn't seen it yet, but this is just making my treat even tastier. As Bedardo's looking over towards the right side, trying to find maybe the snipe shot under Cruelty or a player in Noisy that might come down the staircase. Nobody from Ottawa Black willing to move from the setup that they have right now. And as Fame pulls out the sniper and is able to find one that's going to leave things in a 4 versus 2. And unfortunately, the Ravens don't have the bomb.
No, and it's dropped in such a tough spot. If you don't have a smoke to try to clear yourself to get that bomb, it becomes excruciating to try to work your way back inside of this site alone. Cruelty finds another. This is all up to 47, and well, they'll find 2. I'll be challenged up from their exit, and Fame will just lock it down with the Diamatti shots. Ottawa Black get themselves on the board, and again, it's exhausting the time. You know, that smoke for Cruelty all the way on that south lane really kept Bernardo trapped over inside of wood. They could not work that angle underneath the plane. And while that was all happening, Fame was able to lock down at the opposite angle with their boomstick, find that kill, but most importantly, inside the plane is where they were able to find that first blood. And coming back from a first blood like that, on Checkmate Search and Destroy is already tough, but when you already have a sniper covering that angle, it becomes even more devastating.
This is an angle and a half!
Oh, y'all didn't know?
I mean, I guess when you're without snipers for as long as you are, I mean, you get surprised at times. And, you know, you don't really typically see that because nobody wants to play that long AR angle, at least by tube with an AR, when you can get knocked down from it instantaneously by a sneaky little cheeky player. But now as Bedardo finds 2, somehow the Ravens fight back and win the round. And, well, I guess that's another technical break of a GA, defusing on top of the bomb. I mean, I guess defusing's not a GA, but, you know, planning on top of the bomb would be in a lot of regards, except for inside of top E, of course.
Between the smokes, the snipers, and then the team kills shot punch at the end, I'm like, it doesn't feel like a winners finals here, man. Or winners, yeah. This is weird. It almost feels like a glorified show match between these two teams. The amount of fun that we're having, but I mean, hey, the potential to try to even up the series is definitely here for Carleton. Break GAs, I don't really care. They're looking pretty darn skippy to try to take this search and destroy in a 2-round lead. For their offense, they're gonna put Bernardo inside the plane. Here comes some of those wall banks. Struki now with the boomstick. Gonna be looking for some opening first bloods. Unable to find that angle though.
Struki's one of those guys that is very, very talented with the SMG. Yeah, that's a sniper. He's able to find the kill up towards top wing to start things off. Team Thief finds 2, and Fame comes through with a trade. Now for a 1 versus 4, technically isn't going to come through. The Ravens, well, they're looking good in this GA broken S&D.
Oh, man, it's just so... It's so refreshing because, again, when you have Struki, they found that first bloody. You cannot re-challenge that LOS unless you have a smoke to clear your cross. And what ends up happening while you're all trapped on that south side of Checkmate, well, the SMGs are just going to be able to push up. Team Thief is able to do just that. And just slowly whittling things down against Ottawa Black. 3 rounds is the lead for Carleton. The offense for Ottawa Black, though, is going to see a very aggressive push underneath the plane.
Trades coming through. Fame finds the last one there onto 47, so a 3 versus 2. And if we saw an M4 come out, I'd think we're playing league play right now, proper, in all fairness. But 1 versus 3 once again this time. It's going to be for the Ravens. Can Bedardo, with the sniper and the Diamatti, pull off an incredible 1 versus 3 clutch?
There's no XM4s, so I definitely don't feel like I'm in an elite play match right now. Bless. Nardo does have an LW3. Fame. Get it. Do it. Yeah! Oh! Whoa! Oh, try to dodge it? No, you cannot stop it. I'll stab you in the kidney. I'll take the round as well.
We'll see it one more time in slow motion this time. Knife is there, just straight into the neck. As Oog the Legend would say, it's jugular season out here, folks.
I mean, Bernardo, he almost got the counter as well. Try to throw the palm, try to stop the stab. But I mean, gotta tell you, I mean, Fame was just too elusive. That Muay Thai and that Jiu-Jitsu really came in clutch there.
Kev the Chad. Sniper up for the top here from Streaky. We're just finding all types of angles out here today. He's gonna be able to find the
hit those.
Okay, he gets it the second time, so on the rebound, he's able to find the snipe, so gets the first pick on the board. Fame falls. The leader in kills for the side of Ottawa Black is off the board early on in round number 7. Bedardo finds the kill on the Noisy. That's gonna make it a 1 versus 4. Are they gonna try to assassinate him here? Please tell me they do. Yeah.
Oh, that's just such good fun. Who gets the assassination? It's none other than Team Thief. That is brutal. Yeah, you're in a motorcycle helmet. That's not gonna stop a 9mm bullet. I'll tell you that much. My word.
He was honestly praying for his life at that point as well. First shot right to the gut. The second one through the cranium. And that puts the Ravens up in match point here inside of the S&D. 5-2, the rounds we go, trying to tie the series up at 1-1. Not the map that we thought they'd take off of Ottawa Black. The smoke will screen it out, and this will be a push for Noisy up to the top of the plane onto 47. He'll find first blood.
Yeah, great challenge, pushing all the way through the smoke, and that's that exact offensive push that I was talking about even before we hopped into Checkmate Search and Destroy. Smokes aside, that's what you want your SMGs to essentially do. Streaky's holding the off angle, looking through the exit. 2v3 for the retake. This is tough.
Noisy saw Streaky there, did not want to repeat for the challenge against the sniper. Noisy will find the kill. Now a 1 versus 3. I said Streaky was proficient with the sniper. Are they going to go for another assassination attempt here? Please tell me they do. They're going to run past Streaky with 20 seconds left. He doesn't even look like he's trying to
back
go for
against the wall.
He's just trying not to get assassinated here in another round. Hipfire not going to find it. He'll get one as he jumps down off the wing, but with 7 seconds left on the clock, they're not going to be able to find it. The kill comes through. 5-3. Ottawa still down.
I love Collegiate. Just puts himself right against the wall. Streaky's like, nope. No assassinations coming this way. I got my back against the wall. One less angle to be weary of. Carlton's still up on map point, but Ottawa Black, I mean, able to exemplify a very aggressive smoke-based push through the plane offensively. Noisy makes it happen. Nice, I love the strategy from Carlton. Dale strategy, forget the bomb in base. And wait for Team Thief to go for the long rotation. Yes, of course.
This really is league play. Forget the bomb in the spawn. Snipers, smokes, and an S&D on checkmate. Lightning outside will find the first blood. You hear the sniper shots ringing from ear to ear across the entirety of the hangar. And Noisy, well, he's found 2 with the Semtex there. 1 versus 4. Bedardo left in another 1v odd situation. Ottawa, they're starting to come back here.
Oh, Bernardo. Find 1. So that has to be a full 1v4. He's sliding a lot. I mean, that's a lot of sound. It's loud. Bernardo is working their way on the opposite side of the map, though. Ottawa Black have no idea that this is happening. Map has been traded out entirely, but the bomb's going to be recovered for Bernardo. And where Noisy's playing at as well is just trying to play for the cross inside of B. They got to play for the plant. Bernardo won't be able to lock down the kill as Noisy finds it, making this a 1-round affair.
He had to check his back again just in case.
Yeah,
He's coming behind him.
Are they coming? Where are they?
That's the one thing that's in the back of everybody's mind right now. What a nade there from Noisy. Over the top, able to find the last few bits of HP on the.
That shrapnel had some hook. I don't care what you say. That shrapnel had some hook on it. What was that? That was like a Semtex out of Wanted. What was that?
Fighting fire with fire, smoke for smoke, sniper for sniper. On the checkmate S&D, Ottawa Black 1 round away from coming down, not only from 3-5, but forcing the round 11. Still very possible that they're able to do it here. It's been an unorthodox S&D, but this is one thing that holds strong is that Ottawa has the comeback potential.
Still a push for Ottawa on this offense is potentially set to around 11. Potential to try to find an unforced error, and there it is, Streaky. It's going to be that sniper, or is actually running a sub, I believe, through that A street, but Team Thief inside the plane will even things out.
Gets away for a second. 47 over towards that left side. Lightning will be there for the challenge. 47 was actually able to get down Cruelty over towards the kill house, but fortunately enough for the side of Ottawa. They'll trade it out 1 versus 2. Noisy on 4. Can you continue the streak, be 1 away from streaks, and clutch the 1 versus 2 to send your team to around 11?
Oh, look where the bombs drop to. Nice, right next to the landing gear. Got a 74U. These have to be some pristine shots from Noisy if they want to try to clutch this one up, and trophy system will be obliterated. And as soon as Noisy tries to at least showcase their presence, Team Thief will throw a couple shots, and the shot punch from Thief will put them down. Carlton Ravens will close out the search and destroy. A fun one, a weird one, a zany one, some might honestly say, with GAs being broken, but we're here for it. The series is tied up 1 apiece.
Folks, that was fun, as Proper pointed out, but realistically speaking, if you look at the side of Carlton, now they tie the series up 1-1, and although, again, I said it was unorthodox beforehand, Ottawa Black, the caveat to beating them is, of course, taking an S&D. That's really only the game mode that they've dropped twice throughout the entirety of the season when it's not to Ottawa Gold. Raid Control, though, coming up after the fact. I don't know what the hell we're going to see. It'll probably be back to a normal GA set of circumstances, but if not, I would love that as well. But on the other side of a break, the Invitational presented by Army ROTC continues. My name is McCormill, alongside myself is Proper Cast, and oh boy, it's a doozy. Fun S&D, fun series thus far, tied 1-1. The Ravens tie the series up at 1 apiece against Ottawa Black, the heavy favorite coming into the Invitational. We go to a Raid Control where Ottawa, or rather the side of Conquered Maroon, was able to take a map off of Ottawa Black inside of the CCL playoffs in the losers finals. Probably let's talk a little bit about Raid Control here for the side of Black and for the side of the Ravens.
Yeah, Raid Control, I mean, this is a very interesting map. It's very fast-paced comparatively to what we have been looking at for Checkmate and Garrison. It is way more accessible in trying to work those zones. The middle of the map is your access pass, right, through P5, through the open staircase, but most importantly, through Kitchen. For an offensive team to be able to work their way inside a Kitchen and through Money Window, that could be the B zone. But it's always interesting the way that the spawns do play out on Raid Control comparatively to the other maps. You are unsuccessful in pushing over towards B in this example, well, you're probably going to spawn on driveway, and then you're going to be able to at least contest that A zone. So a lot more offensive round wins do come through here on Raid more than any other map mode in this game mode combo. So, I mean, I think it's very interesting to be able to talk about which team's going to be able to lock down defense. I think you got to be looking at the ARs for both these teams to be able to step up. We saw Bernardo doing that in the Garrison Hardpoint, even in a 250 to 148 loss. Going to need some of that come through in this Raid Control.
Well, thus far, no smokes, no snipers, so it looks like we're back to our regular scheduled programming. Over the Milano for 47. We've seen him make that work inside of the playoffs, but, well, you can't really do much when it's 4 down off the rip, and now they're going to get those close bedroom spawns. Cruelty will read this to a T. We'll get the first player there. 47 finds the trade. You're going to get onto the B zone, but it's going to be a pinch here trying to come all the way through the spawns, and, oh, Team Thief. Horrible timing.
Oh, it's just awful timing, but great timing if you're a fan of Noisy, who's now on 3 straight. Able to find that avenue, and now they're actually going to push for a couple of spawn kills. Going to clear out some water. 47 still pushed up over by basketball courts, by the way, but their team is just not having any sort of success, not until Streaky ends up finding at least one. This is keeping Ottawa Black split, while Carlton go for a stack on A.
Oh, a little sneaky 47 getting into the back line. You're going to have a player trying to flank. That's going to be Lightning, who gets some shots through. 47 going to try and turn and burn the 1 versus 1, as Proper would say, with the tree. It's not going to work out in his favor. As we look back over towards the B site, it's a really split push here from the Ravens. They're going to trade out 3 to 3. It's a 2 versus 1 over by B.
Still presence here for Carlton over by A, though. Just be able to fully capture this. Yeah, Ottawa Black, I mean, there's no reason for you to try to recontest this. Not unless you find a handful of kills. 47 just got to keep their life. There's the A zone, will be secure. Lightning will get 2 exit kills.
Okay.
74U. This is 21 versus 13 and a 9-life lead for Ottawa Black going in towards this B zone where it is very tough to take, but most importantly, just look at the lives. They can just keep this slowed down at this pace and just whittle down the clock.
Well, Noisy's on 6. One more will get him streaks.
Casually.
Just playing in the back spawn, the side of the Ravens. This is actually a really nice spot because I think he's probably laying down over there. Yes, he is. But Semtex will come through, so the check is there. He'll pre-aim around that left side corner. Team Thief will shut him down. So that's great awareness from the side of the Ravens to know somebody's in the back lines, but also shut down those streaks so Ottawa Black can't use that on the offense or a defensive push, no matter which way this game goes. Fame finds the kill there up on the Badardo. The trade's coming through. 2 down for the side of Ottawa Black. The Ravens maybe being able to make an assault over towards the B side.
It's possible. You're going to stop that clock marginally. Thief, nice challenge over towards Towels. 3 go down for Ottawa Black. Carlton now can put themselves on this B zone. In 47, that's a big kill on the Lightning inside of Kitchen. Now they just got to hold this money window.
Yeah, Lightning wants to be inside of money so we can prohibit the push from coming through, but you want to stack the point at the same time. You've got tick number 1 coming through. The shots are there to at least stop it for a little bit of time. You prohibit it. And it's Cruelty and Lightning pair for 2, but Ardo there for the trade. 47 still alive with Thief as they now push. They get the close spawns by Bedroom. They can still win this game. They can still win this time, but more importantly, they're in the back line getting the kills and the spawns, and here they come to stack the point. Everybody on it. Nobody home for the side of Ottawa Black to get on it. The Ravens take round number 1 in the control, and Ottawa Black falters on the defense that we thought they would win.
Got to take that little mark down. 6 total capture point, or 6 total ticks in total. That goes to a round number 5. Maybe you don't want defense. I don't know. It could end up being a conversation point for a later date, Alex. That maybe you might want offense, especially with how we saw Carlton come out of the gates there. When Ottawa Black, they were able to walk away with a pretty convincing break-off. Carlton were able to bounce all the way back. 47 was alive in basketball courts for far too long. Most importantly, when they had the opportunity to strike and they were able to find that focus fire, they looked good to do it on that A push. So here comes Ottawa Black for their offense. 47 in P5, under a lot of pressure, but goes for the reach-out over towards that open staircase. It's Lightning for 2 as they stand tall.
Into the kitchen. Prepping up a dish for the side of the Ravens, but it is the rest of the teammates who actually come through and serve it. So Lightning pairs as a sous chef. 47 looks for the push. I think we'll just play dormant inside of money. They're going to be able to spot out that player. 47, will you be able to find the kill? No. Lightning is still there on 3. 4 in a row for Cruelty. Tries to find number 5, but will fall to Badardo. They've got 1 tick of progress over at B proper, so looking for number 2 here as the rest of the teammates now start to push up. Is it going to be a break back for the Ravens, or will it be the side of Ottawa Black? Keeping hold strong. You get a tick over towards B. I think it's going to be the side of the Ottawa Black roster that is able to find through middle and get over towards B.
Yeah, Cruelty found big 2 kills inside a kitchen. There's a number 3 as well. 10 and 5 has to help out Noisy over by the B zone. You're just going to have to chalk this now if you're Carlton. Those 2 players inside a kitchen needed to keep their life so that way they can test the B zone, but they will not be able to do so. It is a big life lead. It is only 2 now for Ottawa Black, but even still, a life lead is still one to be able to hold as you can slow things down with just sub 2 minutes on the board and try to work this pinch. You see how Ottawa Black are playing throughout the back and through Spiral. Noisy will take down Bernardo, so that opens up the back of the map for Ottawa's push.
I love this, but they've got to be wary of Team Thief coming through around by cutout. Takes down 1 player, but that'll spawn them at least somewhat close over towards the back. Nobody from the Ravens are pushed up into the spawn of Ottawa Black, at least for the moment of time. Noisy finds 2, and now they've got the laundry side, so they're basically playing defense here while attacking over towards A on offense.
Middle of the map is theirs, though. 2 players for Carlton will be walking their way up through the pool side. They got to clear out Laundry. Shruki is in there, and Noisy will do just that. So now you can get on towards the A zone, but the middle of the map has been open, and then Lightning would love to be able to find that trade. Dardo is going to be able to lock it down. 9 and 14 for them. Not as sexy as they look to end that Garrison hardpoint, but it's still going to be an offensive push for Ottawa Black. We're still looking at 1 minute and 13 seconds on the board. That's where it'll be stalled out.
On this offensive round, every time the Ravens get maybe 1 or 2 kills, it seems like Ottawa just flushes out the entirety of the opposition's roster. They're back over towards the A zone. They've got 2 ticks on it. Nobody's going to be home for the contest on A. Both teams handshake the rounds back and forth for a 1-1 tie on Raid. Just like the series, we're head-to-head. We're all tied up.
Hey, again, it goes back to that point that I was talking about. Raid is probably one of those control maps that you will see more offensive round wins rather than defense, and that always comes the considerable question is who's going to be the first team to be able to win out on defense. It comes down to a couple of solid holds. I mean, again, Ottawa Black and Carlton, we're looking at pretty good breakoffs from time to time, but this Ottawa Black roster, you go back to that Garrison hardpoint, and even certain aspects of that checkmate search and destroy with some of the routes, some of the set paces that they are coming off the rip with. They're trying to outsmart Carlton on every single front while slaying out as well. Noisy 14 and 6, 13 and 7 for Cruelty. First challenge will have Noisy for first blood. Great first breakoff for Black. Carlton Ravens still showing presence today.
It's a bit hard to win a 1 versus 3 gunfight in the middle of the map, and Fame will ends Strucky's life with a great punch right to the gut after finding a few shots. So a shot punch prevalent as ever here inside of Black Ops Cold War. They get back over towards A, deplete the zone almost in its entirety. 47 leading the charge here, puts away the Milano and pulls out the 74U once again, but it's no match for Fame and his Krieg. The main AR for the side of Ottawa Black continues to work wonders here on Raid with the control.
Just gonna zone him away. The no ticks to speak of over by A or B, so now you can always recycle players in and out from the spawn of Carleton Ravens, but Ottawa Black, that is 2 down. So now Presence might just be here for A. Ottawa Black, they're gonna have an opportunity to get themselves inside of Laundry first and foremost.
Here comes a streak. Noisy finds one with a cruise missile, looks for a couple up inside of Art's able to curve it through the window. Oh, that was pretty.
I mean, that was gorgeous. There's a reason why we talk about Noisy. Yeah, one of the top AMs, finished 3rd in Modern Warfare champs, and sitting here playing for Ottawa Black. A couple top 16 finishes, almost qualifies for Elite Stage number 3, keep in mind you, but Carleton Ravens not out of it quite yet. Well, now they're out of it. Noisy will end up finding at least another to the Diamati. Strucky will end up taking them down, but still, Ottawa Black with numbers. It is an 8v22.
Paints a beautiful picture of blood in Art with the cruise missile that follows, of course, behind a few kills that come through and prohibit the side of the Ravens from getting any progress over towards A. They win a couple gunfights at B, but more importantly, as proper highlighted beforehand, the lives, it's a disparity at large proportions. 3 to 19, they're down by 16 lives, with no respawns remaining proper. I'm on the edge of my seat as Cruelty has 9 in a row.
9 in a row, fully streaked out. You already had the cruise missile. The artillery strike is still there for Noisy. You pick your resource, right? Going into an offensive round for Ottawa Black. And again, I finally get my answer to the question, who's going to win that first defense here on Raid Control? Well, it is Ottawa Black off of a very impressive opening break-off. And from there on out, they just did a fantastic job of just counter-rotating to where all of Carleton were at. But most importantly, it came down to these solo plays, whether it was Cruelty through the middle over by B, or as we just saw over here at the A site, as long as Ottawa Black always have one of those players finding 3 spree after 3 spree, if not 2, Carleton Ravens are never really going to have a sufficient amount of numbers now, aren't they? Cruelty on that 9th spree you were talking about at the end of that round. Resources out the wazoo to play with to take one of these zones.
Although he gets shut down, he has another cruise missile to work with, so maybe we'll get to see some of the beautiful, beautiful maestroing of Piloteer with a cruise missile, but proper. As we take a look at this round, as they start to push over towards B, it was a very quick offensive the last time. What have they say on the defense this round?
Great opening break-off. Again, Carleton, I'm going to sound like a broken record by the end of the Cold War year, unless Control comes back next game mode, or next game title, excuse me. But it's that opening break-off, again, that Carleton were able to win so sufficiently. But here's the thing about Raid Control. Like I was talking about, you lose over by B, you will spawn adjacent to A, and Cruelty calls in the cruise missile, finds 2, won't be able to find the 3rd, but at least they know that Tricky is inside of Kitchen, and they'll be cleared out. That's the A zone secured.
That's just adding insult to injury. That's not quite nice. In the Kitchen this time with a cruise middle. Noisy finds a kill with Diamati on the Bedardo and Team Thief as he pushes up the map. It'll be Cruelty for the trade. Semtex is there, Fame there for the trade. And if that doesn't go to show how good Ottawa Black are at finding the trades every single time and putting 2 members together pretty much at every portion of the map, I don't know what is.
Life's not too far gone. So now you got to be careful if you are Carleton Ravens. You're doing the smart thing, knowing that you're defending the B zone. Just always have players inside a bedroom. You always have to have one player inside a kitchen. That's going to be Streaky. They do find one, and they're going to get a lot of information as well. Nice shot punch from Team Thief. Can't get the weapon and get out with their life. That's going to stall out the push for Ottawa Black. You're not going to push this B zone, not with 2 players. Force a team kill on the Lightning from Fame. Now you're just going to be waiting for your respawns. 1 minute 13 left.
On to B. Shots are there. Somehow doesn't fall. From the far side, it's player number 1 that's playing bottom bedroom right now, making sure nobody from the side of Ottawa Black can push up or get the close spawn over towards B. Fame in the back once again, now on 5 of his own. Team Thief over the top, can't even find the shots there on the Fame. Fame will pop back around the corner, but it will be Team Thief who wins the gunfight, so 12 to 12 we go. 50 seconds left here in the round. No progress on B just yet, but they've got a couple players pushed up, ready to make some noise.
Trying to zone away Kitchen first and foremost. It's just unsuccessful. So now Noisy is going to go for the long flank on the backside of Laundry. And I don't think Carleton are going to be aware that this push might be happening, but the push to the front for Ottawa Black is not successful at all. And here comes the artillery strike. It's going to find information, but no kills to speak of. Now Noisy, an opportunity. Down spiral staircase, they will go, but it's trades.
Through the back they come. It's a pinch play for the side of Ottawa Black. Well, player number 3 at the water is just going to try and find something, but here comes Streaks now from Fame. He's got the cruise missile to find one. You're still trying to push up 6 versus 6 as Lightning finds the kill. Can you go ahead and find number 2? Up towards top money. 30 seconds left. You're pushing towards the point. Fame taking a nice stroll through the water. Is able to find a player up towards the rocks. So the player in the water playing sneaky as a beaver. Now as the players in kitchen look for a couple of kills, it's going to be the Streaks that are going to prohibit them from getting back to the point very quickly here. Ottawa trying to go ahead and win map number 2. Team Thief opens the door up just a bit. 47 is there. 2 ticks of progress come through, and if they get these kills here, it's going to be the side of Ottawa Black who now have to fly on back to the point. 3 versus 2. 12 seconds left. Noisy for 2, Cruelty for 1. Ottawa Black take control of the series 2-1 after a 3-1 win on Raid.
We go through 3 cruise missiles, 3 sets of artillery strikes, in a 4th round. I mean, like, think about that for a second. Just the artillery strikes alone.
Yep.
The pings, the artillery strikes alone, that is so much information that the side of Carleton just simply did not have. They didn't have those streaks to play with, and they could not find that information because they're being berated by artillery and cruise missiles throughout the entirety of the round. They were trapped. And although they did a great job of trying to stabilize after the A zone got secured pretty darn quickly by Ottawa Black, it just was the side of Ottawa Black, again, just were able to pull themselves back, recognizing, hey, we don't have the life lead. Let's just play our respawns. We're not really finding success through the middle of the map. Maybe we send Noisy on that long flank on the backside of jungle. It works out in their favor while also clearing out from bedroom as well. It was a very methodical push to get down to the wire of where we were in that 6v6, but those team shots for Ottawa Black and the wherewithal as well to be cognizant of all of the pinches and flanks. Amazing.
I mean, although those streaks coming through at the end, that was still a close round. Like, by all standards, you go down to a 3v3 after investing, what you said, 4 streaks in that final round of the control right there. I mean, like, the fact that Carleton was
better win that round.
In that round, yeah, you need that to go ahead and not only win the control, but you cannot lose while investing 4 different streaks and finding kills with said streaks in the round 2. So Apocalypse Hardpoint, another map proper we haven't seen comparative to the Checkmate S&D, at least from not being on the stream. This is a map where the ARs, although they can be dominant at times, you really need your SMGs to step up, and we saw Ottawa Black be able to best Ottawa Gold here, at least through, it was about the first 4/5 of the map, and then Ottawa Gold was able to come back on this map and force a map number 5 against Ottawa Black inside of the grand finals of the CCL playoffs. Now you're here in the Invitational, you're playing against the Carleton Ravens, who maybe not be as comparable inside of our respawns comparatively to the S&D, but in an Apocalypse Hardpoint, with 47 playing the way that he is, pairing with the rest of the team, this could be a recipe for success.
Yeah, and again, Apocalypse, what is it about Apocalypse that kind of screams the same thing that we saw from that Garrison Hardpoint as those rotations? You know, it's for Austin Cruelty, I mean, we're mostly looking at them to be able to be that heads-up player, so when they set up their team for success when we're thinking about those rotations. I mean, from 2 to 3, that's the entirety of the map right there. But most importantly, if you're starting off on the unfavored side of the map, trying to work your way inside of P2 is no easy feat by any stretch of the imagination. But when you're having the slaying power that we're seeing from Ottawa Black today, they might just be that team to break inside those P2 setups. It is very tough. You will lose a lot of time in doing so. But if you're able to at least break a money setup, like what we saw from Garrison Hardpoint when Carleton Ravens are looking pretty good, i.e. that P2 setup that we had for Carleton on Garrison, I mean, Ottawa Black might just be able to close this out in 4.
And I think that's kind of the way she kind of wrote it too, because I hate to kind of beat a dead horse here, but Ottawa, heavy favorites coming into this tournament for a multitude of reasons. Carleton, they play up against Ottawa Black and they lose in a 3-0 fashion. Now you have them here inside of this, or at least they take that S&D, but that S&D comes with the stipulation to it, of course, as well, with the GAs kind of being broken. So I don't want to say that's the reason the Ravens were able to win that game, because necessarily it wasn't. However, it does play a factor in the way an S&D is going to be played, since we've been playing S&D for a long time in a GA meta where it's just Krigs, 74 Us, stuns, and trophies, and that's about all you're going to be seeing. Smokes and snipers, though, played a huge factor in that. Maybe we get to a map number 5. I'd put it at a probably 99% chance that we don't get there, but I could be proven wrong.
Yeah, you're just hoping again for somehow for Andy 47 to be able to have a map of their life here on Apocalypse. I mean, Bernardo actually outslayed 47 on that Garrison Hardpoint, maybe trying to do a little bit too much for their team, trying to cleave too much space, and we're just too far ahead. I mean, that has been Carleton Ravens, for the entirety of the CCL season. For 47, they were always right there with Hawk. and that's that front to back line that you're almost thinking of too. But it's always Shruki that's almost left behind for 47. They never really in a spot to where they could find those trades, if you will. And, that could also be the disparity in between a CCL player and one of those top AMs that is 47 as well, versus on the opposite side for all of Ottawa Black. That's the pace that I'm sure 47 is probably feeling, that fire underneath them, that this Ottawa Black squad, it almost feels like we're playing for a qualifier for Elite Stage 4 already, just because of the pace that Ottawa Black is looking to set. 47 is really the only one that's trying to match that. Yes, the ARs are still finding value because that's the roles that they're trying to play, but through the front, Carleton Ravens, they need to find more success.
Well, it was a fun raid control, a fun S&D, and a fun hard point. Map number 4, Ottawa Black, a chance to go ahead and maybe win the series outright in a map number 4. You'd like to hope so, but on the other side of a break, that's what we'll be seeing. Apocalypse Hardpoint. We'll be back here for the Collegiate Call of Duty Invitational presented by Army ROTC. All right, welcome back, folks. Apocalypse for map number 4. Welcome back to the Collegiate Invitational presented by Army ROTC. My name is McCormill, alongside myself as proper. Bedardo will find 3, and he just introduces himself along at the same time. So, Ravens, they've gotten themselves in the hill first. 13 seconds out of 40 for 20.
Anybody need an AR flex? Bernardo's 5-0, by the way. Carleton Ravens off to a fantastic start, just already bullying their way out past from the trench side, inside of the bath. They will fly. Bernardo's submachine gun AR, he doesn't care. Fun 6 kills straight regardless. And that's the Apocalypse special. I'm truly wondering how many of these collegiate teams are actually living up to the back and forth that is the meta. I wonder how many SMGs compared to ARs that we have here. Fame will challenge out to Bernardo. So quick little stabilization from Ottawa Black for P2. That's that money hill, but Carleton, they're walking away with like 50 seconds off P1.
That's impressive for a multitude of
reasons.
Unheard of. One, because, okay, sure, Ottawa Black's just trying to hold down for P2. I get that, but the fact that you're able to have no contention from Ottawa Black throughout middle map, throughout the entirety of it, and now you're pushing around through the back, almost able to make a break happen, and although Lightning gets that first kill, and 47 should fall quickly after the fact, at least there was an attempt made there, but should be about a full 60 for Ottawa Black here, if the side of the Ravens can't get through the back.
Noisy on this heady. We'll end up re-challenging to find Shruki. Bernardo's next up. Bernardo will win that gunfight. That is not an easy gunfight to win, submachine gun in hand and all, but doesn't mean that you're successfully going to break through the front by any stretch of the imagination. Bernardo will find one more, just going to go for a quick little challenge for some contested time. There's still 2 players up here for Carleton Ravens, so that's going to force Fame on board with them. They spawn all the way out, as well as Cruelty. That's a P5 spawn. And you're going to be feeling pretty okay with this if you're Ottawa Black, because now you're going to have an easier avenue through the middle of the map of Carleton. Got to be quick to set up for 3.
You got 2 players on rotations, you get a big 15 seconds of scrap time, and now you get a double chow down below. That is just beautiful, perfectly timed. They both fly down, they both pick up a kill, and more importantly, you get yourself in towards the hill. Lightning will fall. Bedardo on another 4-string. Oh my goodness, make it number 5. Carleton thus far in map number 4 is voting great for a try for map number 5.
Yeah, Bernardo just always so close to getting streaks, just can't end up finding it. Fortunate to say, but Ottawa Black are being quite literally slayed out here on Apocalypse. This map can get rather chaotic. Ottawa Black, at least they're trying to research together as a team. Bernardo for the challenge. Will take down Fame. Another one at 15 HP, does not even give a hoot. Cruelty will be right there to take them down. Pinstripe kill feed, that'll favor Ottawa Black again. Inside P3, there's only 30 seconds between these 2 teams, more or less, but the rotation over towards 4, with those spawns that Ottawa Black have closer towards useless, will be there for the initial time.
Apocalypse, a chaotic map, a lot of engagements back and forth, especially between those first 3 hills. Point number 4 is where things tend to get out of hand at times, specifically with how you're able to hold on to the hill. But if 47 can find maybe a kill towards the back, be able to fly through chicken coop, or maybe they don't get shut down by Ottawa Black through the back, then you can find an opportunity and an avenue to get in towards point number 4. However, Turtle is being held down for the time. The side of Ottawa Black, they've gotten a much-needed 15 seconds right off the rip. They've won the majority of their gunfights and look to continue to do the same throughout the rest of the P4 push.
Yeah, and, well, since, P1 and a little bit of P3 as well, Ottawa Black have really been coming out on top of it. A decent P2, contesting P3, and they've already gotten the opening 30 seconds off of 4 as well. Lightning, nice chase on the Shruki, will clear out Chicken Coop. Ottawa Black are still over here by the broken down statue head, just trying to soak up as much time as possible. 47 will break in for scrap time. Now you got to try to reap these spawns, because where Carleton Ravens are currently located at, 2 players for Ottawa Black will actually spawn inside of the temple. So it's going to be a little bit of a pinch play unless Carleton can scout it.
You don't necessarily have to set that one up. It just falls into your lap, and you're able to find 3 kills. Last one's going to be pushing from point number 4. If you're the side of the Ravens, you're happy with getting the scrap time there from the Turtle, but now you have to fight tooth and nail through the front door to get into a very, very hard-to-break point number 5, specifically when Cruelty is able to shoot like that with the AR up close and personal. You got player number 2 and player number 5 trying to make a little bit of a play here, but unfortunately enough for the side of Ottawa Black doesn't seem to be coming anytime soon. 47 finds the kill, Lightning trades it out. Now we look back over towards the point where Bedardo, the last one alive on the push here. Fame will sniff it out. Struki tries to push up, and well, he'll be taken care of as well. Fame with 2, Ottawa Black with the hill.
Again, on the back end of this hardpoint, even off of P1, Ottawa Black have denied almost a solid 80-plus seconds to Carleton Ravens, where they've been able to soak up all of that time. They will take the lead going in towards a new set. But even more so, Ottawa Black are just always commanding these rotations. It's a big shot punch win from Fame over inside of Palace. Now they just got to try to anchor things out while the rest of their team are quite literally across the entirety of the map.
Fame hasn't died in about a minute's time. Bedardo looking to push here through the back. We'll get those first shots, but Fame will find number 4 in a row on this life. They push back to middle map, and there's one thing that Ottawa Black cannot do here. Although they want to hold down P2 spawns, is you can't let Carleton get 60 seconds in middle map once again like they were able to do through the first set of rotations.
Yeah, but Carleton, and they're having a hard time just trying to figure out how they want to break this. Ottawa Black setup is mostly through the trench side, in TV, and on top of maps as well. As soon as Carleton are able to recognize that, Bedardo, 47, and Thief, they find 3 straight. One lone player is going to be Lightning, still over by P3. Struki couldn't go prone in time to be able to have a better hand at that engagement. But most importantly, with 25 seconds still remaining inactive of P1, Carleton are able to get themselves inside of the Palace for those P2 spawns. It really comes down to this last break, or Ottawa Black, if they can win it convincingly, to push their way inside P2. They don't. Carleton Ravens are, again, looking good off of P1 and 2.
Trench Warfare looking like World War I. Ottawa Black on the winning side thus far here for at least the last 10 seconds of time. 5 seconds will go their way. Now they're going to try and break in through the front where Fame and Cruelty are already there. Noisy will go ahead and lead the charge with them. And they've got 2 players spawning behind them from the set of the Ravens. So as for... wow. I can't believe the Ravens actually were able to get both of those kills in the back there, because that gives them basic spawns. Or at least you would have liked to see. Lightning will find 2. Fame will find 1. And what was a good set of kills for the Ravens, unfortunately, falls apart. Proper, I hate to say, but... look at the bottom, player number 4 for the Ravens.
Not having a good time, no. Struki, 3 and 16. I mean, we're past quad positive or quad negative at this point. It's just a tough scene, really. It's already hard enough to be able to fly through a map like Apocalypse, yet alone lock down those long-range shots. But ever since that opening breakoff, where it's mostly just been Bedardo at 22 and 18, 47 a little bit behind at 14 and 16, Ottawa Black have been piecing Carleton in these rotations, in these engagements, and even in towards that break for 2. It's almost the same thing coming through the first set of hills. Fame, Noisy, Fame now on 6 straight, 20 and 11, the potential to play for this artillery strike. They can find themselves another kill. As soon as P3 will pop, Ottawa Black, you would assume, is going to be over 200 points.
Well, just like Bedardo, Fame has been on the streaks twice at this point. Can he be able to find number 7? He will, so that's at least the artillery barrage. One more will find the lightning, or rather the cruise missile as well. I still got the lightning strike from Black Ops 4 like glued into my mind, because that was such a powerful streak back then, still as it is now. Noisy over the top will challenge. Lightning, the last one alive here, still on 5, can find streaks for himself as well. That's number 6, and the artillery barrage, one more kill. Well, that'll be the cruise missile too.
Sure will, and... well, you don't have enough time to be able to close it out on P3, but inside P4, yeah, you are quite literally out in the open. Now, you got a couple buildings and huts that you could try to play around, but their artillery plus the cruise missile, very easy to work that shrapnel inside those buildings. Carleton, though, they will break in for the scrap of scrap time. 10 seconds remaining. Ottawa Black, they will now resurface themselves inside of the Barrel Hill. Lightning, nice little slide chow for them, 26 and 11, as they look to hit all the way through as P4 pops.
You need 14 seconds to win the game and send yourself to the grand finals, which you're no stranger to. However, you got to break into point number 4 first in order to do just that. You got the streaks to work with. It forces them at least in towards that back P4 building, but as Fame finds one up the map onto 47, there goes your main Slayer from the side of the Ravens off the board. Inside, Bedardo will fall. Fame will find 2 more. Tack on 3. Why not Cruelty for 1? Player number 3, 47, the last one alive. Ottawa Black, 10 more seconds is all they need to secure themselves into the grand finals, and with no opposition, no contention and kills coming through in the middle of the map, Ottawa Black, they're going to see the grand finals. The CU Ravens, they'll see the losers finals.
250 to 155. In Bernardo's heroics aside, I mean, that was an impressive start. But it just really goes to show what Apocalypse Hardpoint is all about. What was the biggest highlight that I talked about for Ottawa Black? They were able to realize off of P1, they were spawning a little bit further out, so what do? They resurface as a team. They hit it 3 sub strong, a single AR, and they are just starting to piece together so many hills and so many rotations as well. Apocalypse is just riddled with so many top down that as long as you always have players that are working their way from the high ground, low ground, and always working those pinches for those spawns, Ottawa Black are able to at least work those crossfires, set up for streaks, set up for tons of different breaks, and the setups as well. And they were just so timely as far as what they were looking for, and well, their executes were that much better.
Purdue awaits the Ravens down below. And if you guys need a little bit of a refresher here, we'll take a look at the winners portion of the bracket real quick. And here's the thing, right? Proper, the team that knocked Purdue down to the lower bracket, well, it was the CU Ravens in the semifinals. That's how they got to the winners finals in the first place. But now, with Purdue being on a hot streak after winning 2 in a row in the losers bracket, and the side of the Ravens losing one here in the winners finals, maybe an opportunity for Purdue to steal one away from the Ravens, get to the grand finals to face Ottawa Black. But if I had to be a betting man, I'd say the Ravens probably get back up there, and hopefully we see another wacky S&D like we did in map number 2.
Well, hey, I mean, they did face each other like you were talking about in winners semifinals yesterday. It went to 4 maps, of which Carleton were able to win. It was pretty darn contested with Purdue taking that search and destroy on raid, but even still, this is a big this is a big moment now for Carleton to really solidify themselves as that grand final team to go back to face Ottawa Black because, you know, all GAs being broken aside, they were able to at least take a search and destroy and keep things competitive inside of that control for a certain amount of time. As long as we can start really working on some of our rotations and just hitting some of these skills together for Hardpoint. I mean, Carleton, they're just on the cusp of just really bringing it to Ottawa Black, but you got to get through Purdue first.
The biggest factor in that loss for the Ravens was Struki at 4-22. Unfortunately, could just not find his way on Apocalypse whatsoever, and that allowed Ottawa Black not to sneak back into the game, but ultimately take it in the end. That's going to do it for this Best of 5 series and your winners finals. Coming up next, the losers finals. It's going to be the CU Ravens going up against Purdue. Bringing you the action is going to be I Hold Shift in Visions. That's going to be it for myself and Proper Casts. We'll see you guys soon. Get ready for the losers finals coming up next.